Welcome, everyone, to another SDEC session. My name is Adam Greco, and I'll be moderating this session. For those of you who are new to the SDEC, we are a free educational group with topics related to digital analytics and digital marketing. During today's session, if you have any technical issues or need any help with anything related to the SDEC, I will be monitoring the chat, and you can chat to hosts and panelists, and I will see if I can help you out. If you have any questions for our speaker, Julia, please put those in the Zoom Q&A, not in the chat, so we can get to all those questions afterwards. If you are new to the SDEC, I'll be putting some information in the chat on how you can join. It's free to join. There's no spam, no marketing. You just get invites to these sessions, and you could tell us which topics you're interested in. And another benefit of joining is that you can join our Slack group, where we have stored all of our past recordings. Many of you are members of the SDEC, but you have not yet joined the Slack group. We have about 30% of you that have yet to join the Slack group. And I would highly encourage you to do that so that you can take a look at all of the past recordings. I think we're over 60 recordings now. And if you have any issues with Slack or think that you can't get into Slack, even if your company doesn't use it, we've learned tricks on how to get you into Slack. So feel free to ping me, and I'll be putting our email address in the chat. So today's session is in the digital strategy area, and we're going to be talking about a pretty hot topic. Consent management platforms. So I'm excited to have Julia lead us through this topic. So Julia, I will hand it off to you and catch up after we're done in the Q&A. So thanks so much for presenting, and take it away.
Okay, great. Thank you, Adam. Hello, guys. Nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us at this educational session at Search Discovery community. Today, I'm honored to share with you some thoughts and experiences regarding content management platforms, and we'll focus on the evaluation, selection, and implementation of CMPs. I just come up with a small agenda and would love to give you some basic definitions and a little feeling what is GDPR about, what is a user consent, what is a CMP, and which topics will be covered by CMPs typically. And then I'm proud to present you a cookbook for CMP, how to cook a perfect content management platform, which points are to analyze how to evaluate different kinds of CMPs and how to implement CMP with a typical implementation process. At the end, you're free to ask frequently or non-frequently ask questions. And if we don't manage to answer all the questions in our session, please feel free to reach out to me, and we'll answer the questions afterwards. Few words to my personality. I'm Julia, a consultant in the fields of data-driven marketing, business analytics, and data management, based in Munich, Germany, and working across the world. I'm passionate solution architect and evangelist of data science and a modern data-centered management philosophy. How you can reach out to me, there's email address of mine, and you can simply find me on LinkedIn or Xing. So let's begin with some basic definitions. What's GDPR? GDPR is basically a framework that's an international privacy and security law in the European Union, which focuses on protecting data and information, and protects also the individual. GDPR introduced the new privacy principles, like information. You, as an enterprise or a publisher, you have to advise users, your visitors, of the policies in place to protect personal information. You have to choose on consent to provide consent and choices to your customers or to your users around the use, storage, and management of personal information. And the main point is the enforcement. You have to ensure that your service side solution and the platform are aligned with some form of regulation that enforces compliance. GDPR introduced a new legal and logical construct, user consent. As a typical data-driven, hopefully, enterprise, you have a simple schema how you process user data. Maybe you make some data collection, and you're collecting personal data and demographics. You make some tracking on-site, in-app, and you're collecting behavioral data. You collect maybe customer engagement data with usability tracking tools. You have some transactional data, device data, and so on. And then you want to merge your data sets from different sources and to prepare the customer data for profiling and build some segments and audiences and activate your data via your marketing and communication channels, like your websites, apps, mobile apps, email, phones, SMS, push notification, and so on. In the European Union, we don't only have the GDPR as a basic framework, but also a lot of different directives and e-privacy regulation, so-called e-privacy regulation. In each a country, we also have some local adoptions of GDPR and additional directives. For direct marketing, this applies to broad technologies of data collection, as I said, tracking and lead generation and data activation. With the GDPR, e-privacy regulation and specific compliance directives, new requirements for setting of cookies come into effect. Unfortunately, GDPR and e-privacy make no difference whether the cookies store personal or general information. As an operator of the website and the app, you have to provide detailed information about cookies and technologies for user in advance. You have to carefully recording and storage the obtained consents or rejections because it's a particular status of user consent. It's doesn't have to be always positive. You have to accept the non-consents and the rejections, and you have to couple your tracking and marketing scripts to obtain consent status. Then you have, as an enterprise, you have to integrate the consent into the communication and marketing process. So for cookie-based technologies on-site, you have to collect cookie-specific consent from your customers or users. Then if you do some kind of marketing communication like direct marketing, and you are collecting some emails or phone numbers, you're maybe sending SMS or push notifications, you have to collect an explicit user consent. The next one, if you want to do some customer profiling, you have also to collect a specific user consent. And the next one is a specific one if you do some geo-targeting or collect or locate your users by mobile phones. You also have to collect this kind of consent, of user consent. What does it mean? Basically, it's a simple schema. The legislator requires a constant dialogue between the company and the user. The user has to be informed, the user has to be informed about what's happening with his data and actively approve or reject it. That's we're calling informed consent. The company's task is to comply with the user consent to document its particular status into integrated into marketing and data management construct. User consents with a specific focus should be stored for a defined time period with the particular status and other attributes like user IDs, technical equipment like device categories, operating system, browser setting like language, screen resolution, as well as data and timestamps, and built in this way additional data sets with their own life cycle, which should be organized in a database and effectively managed. The enterprise needs a software which helps it to collect, update, process, and activate obtained data sets. The activation of consent datasets means that they should be integrated in each stage of the enterprise data lifecycle for data collection, merging datasets for profiling and data activation. It could be really crucial because not properly collected and activated user consent can completely disrupt your marketing strategy and eliminate the marketing efforts, because this is a typical loop or of customer journey. In the early stages, you don't know anything because you don't without user consent you cannot collect behavioral information. You don't anything you know anything about the customer needs, about the user behavior, how they're selecting projects or sorting informations. Maybe you get some data from your e-commerce for shop, and that's simply all what you have. And this is not an appropriate base for create further strategies or set up some marketing programs. Maybe it's a kind of solution to not have any users at all, to not to be conform to GDPR or regulatory compliance. But there is also another solution called consent management platform. Consent management platform is a cohort of tools which helps owners of digital assets like websites and mobile apps to comply with data privacy laws by collecting and managing user consent. CMPs primarily fulfill the following tasks. They request, document, manage, and provide consents for the use of cookies and technologies for the purposes of data processing, marketing, and advertising communication. Typical features of CMP are to display of pop-up windows or widgets with the possibility of approval of or disapproval. They collect and handle user consents. They block some scripts and setting of cookies before consent is given. They collecting and managing data subject requests. For instance, processing user requests to access, correct, move, and delete their data, and provide user consents for activation in the enterprise data cycle. Typically, consent management platforms cover three perspectives. First of all is the legal perspective. CMPs help to eliminate and hedge risks. They set global standards. They consider also local legislations and integrate some frameworks and additional directives. In a marketing perspective, they support marketing landscape and your marketing initiatives across digital assets, countries, and languages. Data perspective. In this perspective, CMPs manage consent lifecycle and help you to integrate consents into the enterprise data lifecycle. We only have three kinds of CMPs. The first one is a part of EdTech or marketing technology solutions. The second one is a part of tech management or tech performance solutions. And the third one is or are full privacy players. And we can differ between standalone solutions and integrated solutions. Some examples of this solution: EdTech, MarTech, Quantcast, SaaSpoint, tech management, well-known Commanders Act or Tilium, and as a pure player, I can know OneTrust or User-Centrics, which I'm working with. Then proudly present my cookbook, CMP. To cook a perfect CMP, that's not complicated at all, not difficult at all. The cooking time is just about 5.5 hours. Just start to analyze your marketing and technical landscape and your legal backgrounds. Then write down your requirements to a CMP, discuss these requirements with your legal. Please don't forget, this is a crucial point. Then evaluate and choose a CMP, create a score-based evaluation model. Take the CMPs of your choice and compare the CMPs with your requirements. Then implement and debug. Here I would recommend to build a task force team to standardize processes and communication, test and debug, and release. Ensure the safety with your customers and start a dialogue. Analyzing. Analyze of your marketing landscape. Just ask yourself, do you intend to integrate obtained consent centrally into marketing and data management? Do you plan to build a centralized CMP platform or set up a distributed architecture? That's very crucial because it defines if you need a standalone or an integrated CMP. Which digital assets do you have? Websites with different domains, probably mobile apps. It builds first requirements to the integration scripts, SDK of the CMP. Which languages do your digital assets offer? Which languages is browser setting use your visitors? The CMP should offer a certain flexibility regarding languages in which the cookie banner will be displayed. Which set of marketing channels do you use, like paid search, display, affiliates, social media, any further? Do you use web analytics or usability tracking tools because both influences the categories of cookies you need? Do you use a customer data platform or do you build customer profiles based on merged data sets from different sources? Possibly you have to collect user consent for this specific topic for customer profiling. Analyze also the legal backgrounds as you can and discuss the results with your legal advisor. Which consents do you intend to collect and manage with the CMP? It's very crucial. Like cookie consents, you can cover it with a cookie compliance banner or cookie banner. Do you need some direct marketing consent in order to start your direct marketing communication? Do you want to do some profiling? Maybe you need some profiling consents. It defines if you need a standalone or an integrated CMPs. In which countries or US states is your company operating? It gives you a feeling of the legal areas privacy regulations which should be supported by the CMP. For the European Union, which banner templates should be used? GDPR versus TCF 2.0 is a really specific framework to setting up GDPR conformed cookie banner. It defines which banner templates you need to use. Should the cookie banners be customizable or standard? This is a really crucial point because I always recommend to standardize at the CMP everything as much as possible because it eliminates your legal risks. Um, Customization of cookie banners is only possible for the GDPR templates because TCF 2.0 are standard, is a standard story. Should data subject requests be manageable? How critical is it? It defines the structure of the CMP database and possibly the ETL processes behind. Is the verification of data subject identity required? It's a crucial point because it needs a coupling of the CMP with your customer identity and access management solution. And then, how to evaluate a CMP? Our first recommendation is to write down the requirements for a CMP using a score-based model. Create an ideal profile of the CMP and let the CMP of your choice provide the information for these crucial and important points. And the next phase, you have to create profiles of the CMPs and pick on the most suitable solutions. It's a result based on a scorecard model where we created an ideal profile for our customer for a CMP and compared 4 different solutions. So we could pick out the most suitable one. The main categories, main points are data security and privacy, UX and A/B testing, its usability of your and customization of your CMP, analyze and reporting of your CMP because you need to see the results and include them into your marketing strategy and your marketing program. Multi-tenancy, if you have multiple domains or multiple countries or multiple subdomains and so on. Then implementation and technical maintenance. It's a crucial point for your technicians, for your technical team. Then services support is very important. Costs, if you plan some restricted or you have some restricted budgets for CMP or a global consent platform. And the usage in the future, maybe you should choose the CMP not regarding the status quo of your marketing landscape, but also regarding the future landscapes or new trends. And then at least a simple process how to implement CMP. So first you have to buy a license, obviously, and then you simply start scrolling existing cookies and you plan some new cookies for new technologies, probably, and new scripts. You have to categorize the cookies and edit the descriptions. And then you have to choose a template. Please speak to your legal which template do you need? You set up a banner and preference center of your CMP, create and implement scripts, then test and debug and release. So the perfect formula for a CMP is S square plus E square. The first S is for scalability across your domains, across your countries and languages. The second one is standardization, because it's really I would really recommend to standardize everything possible at a CMP. The next E is for easiness to manage consents and The last E is easiness to set up a CMP for your technical, for your marketeers, or for yourself. So I also created an appendix for you. If you need more information, I can share these slides with you, and maybe you get some answers to your questions yourself. Thank you very much.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much, Julia. If anyone out there has questions, now is a great time to put them in the Zoom Q&A, and Julia will get to them. While we're waiting for a couple of questions to come in, one of the questions I had is for some of the package solutions, do you have any sense of how much they cost, or even just how they price themselves? Are they priced by volume, or is it a fixed price? Have you had clients who've kind of told you some of the pricing involved?
Yes, for sure. In my projects, I pretty often help my customers to choose a CMP. That's because I started this topic. And for a package solution, I would recommend to take a modular building CMP, because at the start, you need some fixed price for your domains, or for your marketing landscape, for your domains, for your websites, and the mobile apps. And then if you need more contents, or for specific topics, or probably, or maybe some specific stories like data governance for your for obtained consents, you can simply buy additionally this module and start your processing. So.
Okay, but you don't have specific costs of it's 20,000 euro a year or something like that.
Not really. It's could be really different depending on the structure of your domains, or of your traffic, and specific requirements to a CMP.
Okay. Okay, so a question we have is, if my company or website is based out of a non-EU region, but visitors come from the EU to my website, do I have to use a CMP for GDPR compliance?
That's a really good point, because the crux of the GMP is as follow. It's not focusing on the enterprises which are based in the European Union, but if a company can get some traffic from the EU, you need to obtain specific cookie consents.
Okay. So the next question is, what are the pros and cons of some of the vendor solutions for each type of CMP?
Um, that's a really interesting question, because yeah, the starting point should be, do you need a global CMP, customer a consent management platform, and you want to store different kinds of consents? That's a very crucial point. Then in this case, if yes, you need a full player. And then if you just want to set up a cookie compliance banner, you can take a standalone CMP, and then in the next step, take a look at your marketing landscape. How large is it? How large is or are your marketing programs? Because for large marketing programs for publishers, it definitely makes sense to use this kind of solution, which are part of EdTech or MarTech tools or solutions. And in the next step, if the most of your marketing tools are implemented via sorry for that, tech manager like Chilium or tech commanders, it definitely makes sense to take a look at this kind of solutions.
Okay, next one. When considering the creation or onboarding of a CDP, which CMP providers would you feel are best suited? Are there any particular considerations to be taken? So I think they're saying, like, are there some CMPs that have natural connections to CDPs that kind of go together?
Yes, of course. That's a very crucial point. Some APIs, some native APIs should be there. The second one, a CDP implies that you have a kind of customer profiling, and you definitely need next user, the specific user consent. For this case, you definitely need a full player because you have to connect different modules in a CMP and to connect them to your CDP. If you manage with your CDP solution, if you manage also direct marketing connection or set up some marketing automation, you need the next kind, this specific consent for direct marketing, and you have to provide the consents to the CDP, and that definitely implies you need a full player, I would say.
Okay. Next one, have you worked with OneTrust for a globally active company to enable cookie compliance on multiple websites? What would we need to be aware of?
Yes, I already done about 10 projects with OneTrust, and I like the solution. What do you need to know for the CMP? It's based on a modular base. It have a modular base because if you need the cookie compliance banner, that's the one part. If you need some A/B testing, you have to activate the next model. If you need to make some adjustments and so on, you have to buy an additional model. That's what I could provide. But I already got a good experience with this platform.
Okay. Next question. I recently heard about Google Consent, which is in beta right now. Is Google planning to come up with its own CMP? If not, how does it integrate with an existing platform?
Oh, that's a bit difficult to answer. I would say maybe we can discuss this topic afterwards.
Okay. Peter asks, do you have a ballpark number for cookie consent opt-out benchmarks? What opt-out ratio would you consider to be good or bad?
Oh, that's a great point because I already face it in my project, everything, every possible consent and non-consent rates. It depends of the design of your CMP. Please take into consideration to create some good CI for your CMP. It sounds banal, maybe. But it's really important to make some evidence of your to create a good CI, a good understanding of your visitors for the names of the elements, for the structure of your legal text to make them understandable to your visitors. And the next one is the project or the website itself, what will be pushed. My impression is for such projects like ATEC, that's a car club in Germany, we created a really good concentrate because the audience is very large and really loyal. And for specific audiences which are focusing, for instance, on financial products or financial information, could be very crucial to provide this understanding and really understandable text.
Okay. So last question. We have someone who said that they work in a food delivery platform that captures PII, but it's needed for their business to actually deliver, like location, address, floor names, and so on. How does that interplay with GDPR, since they need that to do their business? And then someone replied saying that, does your kind of terms and conditions take care of that?
Yes, for sure. I would say the first specific consent you need is to provide direct marketing information because you're storing personal information of people. You have to ask them. The second one is cookie-based consent you need, and if you merge this both kinds of data, you always need the second kind. Of user consent, is profiling consent. I would say definitely yes.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, I think we made it through all of our questions. Thanks everyone for joining. And Julia, thank you so much for sharing some information on consent management platforms.
You're very welcome. Thank you, guys.
Okay, everyone, have a great rest of the week.